Lord Captain, we have dealt with the void ships of these beasts, but a Xenos boarding party has landed on the ship. They are advancing steadily towards the plasma drive. The enforcers are being overrun. They are asking for reinforcements. If we do not help them, this filth will destroy our vessel from the inside. Yeah, let's take all of our main team. Yeah, I think all of you guys make sense for a boarding of Drukhari against us. So we'll just keep going with the same team again. There's something to be said for bringing Cabela instead, but no. I think both Abelard and Heinrichs make sense.
I must thank you, esteemed Magos. After your intervention, I feel 50 years younger. Both my knee implants are as good as new.
I agreed to help out of respect for the priceless array of augmentations placed in your body. Such sacred creations deserve the best maintenance available.
A new challenge for me?
Lacerated bodies and tattered coveralls bearing the initials of the void ship's dynasty that serves this section. So we can go down to you guys, or explore over this way first, which is where I'm going. Ooh, we could jump over this section to potentially get to a different angle of attack, maybe a better angle of attack. That's what I'm hoping, is that we get some benefit for going through this.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
None shall stand in my way.
Logic cut off the power. Huh. Is there some reason I don't want the power on? I suppose so. Alright, Pascal, turn off power.
The machine god grants me insight.
I mean, that was sparking, so maybe that was it, as we couldn't have walked through here safely while the power was on. More monkey. Look, my kin, they can't wait to die. Yeah, we're not the ones who's gonna die. What's taking so long with the engine? The monkey are already here. Do not rush me, or we will perish alongside them.
I'll wipe you from the face of the galaxy.
So there's probably a time limit that we're supposed to get over there to stop them. Cabalite Sapper, Cabalite Blade Master, Cabalite Warrior, Warrior, Heavy Blade Master, Blade Master. Anyone else I haven't seen? Anyone with a name is really what I'm wondering. Looks like a no. They're all just nameless warriors. Okay. We have so little cover here. This is a terrible spot. I mean, once you're dead, we'll be in a better spot, I suppose. It's a bit of a dangerous spot to put you in, but okay. Pascal, let's get you forward. Do I have you just work on taking out these guys? Sure. Heinrichs. Abelard. I can put Abelard in some cover. It's not a terrible plan. There's not really a good way to get him over to here to deal with them. They're going to be a bit of a problem, because either we take this ladder or we wander all the way around to get down to here. Although they're... Okay, you're a swords person, so you're going to be charging up to get to us anyway. You've got a gun. Alright, on to our people. I think you being here in this full cover makes sense. And I guess I'll stand in the open and try not to die. Sure. I think that is somewhat reasonable positionings. Cassius first, of course. Let's give a crit bonus to you two.
I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Though I think Ignatius is going to move forward. Front line. I guess let's just go with here. And then back line for the dodge bonus. There. Now, our usual of buffing Ignatius, more buffing of Ignatius, then bring it down
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
so that he can buff himself.
All too easy. Not a
Do a run and gun. Alright, I can get to cover, depending on what you consider cover. But that's not terrible. I could actually go here instead. That might not be bad, just to give Cassie a bit more protection by putting myself there. But then, do you have a gun? Hold on a moment. Are you a gun or a sword? Warrior. But you have a gun. So you're not going to get attacks of opportunity for me using psychic powers next to you. Perfect. Then yes, let's move here. And I guess deal with you because you're a bit too close for comfort. Who do we have that's actually dangerous based on difficulty levels? Can we see? Why are the numbers not showing on any of them? Why is everything suddenly black? There we go. 'Cause normally they show and I can click on them and see that one's a 2, but why is it not showing it there? 3. 3. 3, 3. 3. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone that... Oh, the heavy is a 4. Okay. We only have 85 health? What about the Blade Master? Blade Master's only 2. Okay, so the heavy, wherever you're hiding, you are ranked as the most dangerous person here. Can I hit you? Barely no. You're 1 square outside the range of my attack. Well, darn. Now I feel silly for going there rather than here. Alright, then let's just take out this guy that's near us.
Nothing I can't do.
Let me educate you on the art of pain.
Yeah, you're not going to educate me in the art of pain. You're going to die soon. Back to Cassia's turn. Man, I don't even know where our melee people are going to run to. That one's going to die right away. Is there any grouping that I can have fun with? Not really. Can you see these people? You can't see that one, so you could just make this one move. You could get both of them. I suppose let's go for that. Get them to both move. Make that the new front line. Why not?
If I may.
Alright, Iliad. Who do you have shots on? Lots of people. Yeah, that heavy is marked as the highest. Hey, there we go. Now they've got their numbers on them. Brilliant. So the heavy is the only 4. Well then, let's mark it as prey.
If I must.
So you're now prey. Analyze enemies on you.
Serves your cause.
We don't guarantee the kill with this shot, but likely with Claim the Bounty, we will get the kill. You'll get good bonuses for killing... Left at 1, of course. She'll get good bonuses for killing someone marked as prey. There you go. Sadly, not any good way for me to get another... Oh, I should have done perfect spot, because I'm going to have you standing here for a while. That might have been enough to... Does that give us bonuses to attack? Perception and ballistics, so maybe it would have helped with the crit? I don't know. Might have helped get the kill in a single shot. I can't say for certain. I don't know. Who do we have left? Sure, if you... 112, 112, you're both Blade Masters. Yeah, if you are still alive on your turn,
Not your Xenos pet monkey.
we'll take a free shot there. Why not?
I bring agony.
Look upon me... what was the name there that you said? Look upon me, Kalea Mensha Kane. Alright. Abelard's turn. You are still alive, in fact. And you're not actually going to die. 30 fire, and you have 36 health. I could have Abelard finish you off, and I might do that because he can't get to anyone else this turn.
Follow my lead.
So we'll put you back here. Actually, I think this spot... We're going to charge from after this attack, so being in the closest to them spot makes the most sense. So you can finish them off. Okay.
Exemplary strike.
Technically not quite, but they'll die on their turn. And then charge to here. Perfect.
Indeed.
Good. If I did endure, I couldn't do another attack. And another attack is probably better, although I could endure and defensive stance. Is that better than just getting another attack in? Because this isn't going to kill them. Not even close. Okay, we'll do endure and defensive stance.
At your beck and call.
And that's probably better than getting one more attack this turn. Oh. We got into cutscene mode briefly. That was weird. I'm guessing it's something to do with this guy. Did they have a turn? I have no idea. Well, let's go top of the initiative to who went last. Polite Specialist, Warrior. Yeah, the Sapper went pretty recently. So the Sapper probably had a cutscene on his turn, but the camera was stuck into the wall, and so I couldn't actually see what they were doing. So maybe I should turn the camera this way. Not that I think it'll matter. Pascal will deal with them soon enough. Okay, for ourselves... And we could just basically finish the two of them off. Or we could move somewhere else to get other attacks going, but I think finishing the two of you off makes sense. Does that end my movement? No, it ends my actions, so I could still walk around afterward. So I might want to move up to here.
Nothing of value has been lost.
High momentum, always good. Could also go here so that I can focus on taking out this warrior. And specialist. That might leave me open to the specialist attack. Do you have a... I think I already checked. You have a gun. Yeah. So I do want cover from you. I don't even know if I would be able to shoot you from where you are. Just trying to find a spot where I get cover from both of them, and there just isn't anything. Except for maybe back here, but I don't know if I'd be able to see them. Alright, just go here, I suppose.
Let's see how they respond to this.
I could give myself another attack right now. But then we probably won't have it when we get to Cassie's turn. We might, though. We might. We probably won't. I doubt Heinrichs or Pascal are in positions to kill enough enemies to get our thing back up. So no, I'll be fine to just end my turn here. Alright, Heinrichs, what can I do with you? Because unfortunately the enemies are all too far away. I can move you here and have you start charging this way to try and get over to some of them. Or I could head you this way to try and help Pascal. It's not a bad call. Yeah, you could easily get over there.
Everyone, step aside.
Let's go with Word of the Emperor on both of us. I don't think we're going to hit anyone else with it. Can't really tell. No, there's no one else over there to hit.
Of course, Lord Captain.
Word of the Emperor, Iron Arm. There you go. Then you can charge in.
Naturally.
Get a solid hit. Yeah, 33 to 42 damage or 18 to 24. Or I could technically use force weapon. What is your psi rating, Heinrichs? I would have thought you'd have a good psi rating, but you also don't do much damage, so part of me is thinking you don't. But I don't see where that number hides. I thought it was visual on here. I don't know. I could find it in your character sheet. Psi rating 3, yeah. So this should do a good amount of damage. Do I think I can finish him off in a single blow? If I use this. This is just showing the weapons damage, not the additional damage from the psi effect. Probably not.
Let's see to it. Your reckoning.
I definitely stand corrected. Well now.
I won't object.
Might as well use that. Pascal. Let's see what you can do here.
Calculated fury algorithm. Running binary override.
Fortunately, a lot of his effects are based upon getting bonuses from people already being injured or on fire or whatever. We just don't have that at the moment.
My vow is to serve.
Reckless Abandon, then heal yourself.
Integrity factor.
And then I think all we can do is just attack. Let's go for bleeding.
Running binary encompasses equation. Your life is negligible.
Nice.
The omniscient.
There we go. You're dead, so that's not going to blow up. And that'll be the end of your turn, Pascal. Cassia.
In the name
Give a free turn to
of
Ignatius,
Counsel
please.
Serio, I shall prevail.
Let's start by lighting everyone on fire, as we do. Because I don't think we auto-kill... Oh, you can't see him? Well, that's disappointing. Is there a position where I can see you? Let's pull out the gun temporarily so I can see attack lines. No. I can see attacks to the 3 other enemies that are still on the field. No. Don't need that. There, from here you can see, but you're super exposed. But we're probably going to end the fight regardless from here. So, go there. Switch back to... I really need to get him a new warp staff. This is the one he's had the entire game. Let's light you on fire. If I did the melta beam, is it a guaranteed kill? It is. I should have just... No. We can do ignite. It'll nearly kill you. Do that on each enemy. And then we just do inflame to finish killing them all. Alright, then we have you. And then there's one more enemy. Is that you? No, you killed your enemy. There were 4 lines to enemies. Who was the last one? You. No, Oh, you. You are in the wall. Right. I saw them sort of jump down here over this ledge and into that, and I was confused. But yeah, they're just inside of there. Somehow. That's fine. I can still hit you. My momentum's back. Perfect. Inflame on everyone. There you go. Okay, cutscene that we again can't see anything. Surviving crew member. A man in an officer's uniform is kneeling and scrabbling around in the mess of blood and dirt on the floor. As soon as you draw near, you hear his feverish muttering, No, where is he? Where's my son? The lower half of the officer's face is grimy, with some strange substance too pale and lumpy to be blood. The officer pays you no attention. His eyes are fixed on the floor. Wait, he's an operational officer from Deck 67-3, not from one of the local clans, which is why I remember him. He helped me bring up the new recruits from the planet. What is he doing here? I guess let's examine the officer's face. Why are you here and not at your assigned deck? Point to the patch on the man's sleeve. Your crew's not stationed in this section. Explain yourself. How did you survive the massacre? What are you doing? Let's examine his face. You take another step toward the man and peer into his face. Blue veins bulge under his scab-mottled skin, and his bloodshot eyes are darting in every direction, sometimes rolling back into his head so that only the whites are visible. The strange stuff covering the officer's face is a lumpy pink slime mixed with blood that is streaming from his disfigured nose. Why are you here and not on your assigned deck? Something shifts in the officer's expression, and the feverish gleam in his eyes goes out. Tacitus, my boy. Swamp devils dragged him off. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm looking for my son. The Emperor's valiant guards came to save my boy. I showed them where the swamp devils dragged Tacitus. I led them right here, like they asked. They'll make short work of the nest of these beasts, and I'll keep looking for my boy in the meantime. Master, will you help? The man's face contorts in a monstrous grimace, a mixture of pain, hope, and madness. I'm just wondering... He says the guards came to save his boy and he led them here. Did they somehow confuse him and he was leading the Eldari here? Maybe? I don't know. Because there's no guards here. I'll be damned if this officer has a son. Perhaps he did once, but he embarked without any family in tow. Abelard sighs heavily. He's cracked, the poor wretch. I believe this Monkey is not here by chance. He has been in the clutches of the Dark Ones. If his current state may be the bitter fruit of time spent alongside those masters of torment and madness. Your son is not here. There are no guards here. You're on board the rogue trader's vessel, knee-deep in Xenos blood and entrails. Stammered the Lord Captain, speaking to your worm. Your spawn truly is somewhere around here. The only way you will find him is in pieces. You are... Yeah, I'm not going to say his son is not here. I don't want to hurt his mental sanity anymore. There are no guards here. You are on board the rogue trader's vessel, knee-deep in Xenos blood and entrails. I don't understand. Xenos? What Xenos? For an instant, awareness returns to the officer's eyes, and he seems to see his surroundings for the first time. His face slowly stills in horror. Emperor, preserve us. The man sneezes, and the lower half of his face is coated anew in the slime streaming from his nose. The officer casts you a pleading look. What is this nightmarish scene? I was leading the Emperor's guards to the swamp devil's nest across the marshlands of my homeworld, but instead of that, I was showing the way to them? He points at the corpse of a Xenos with a trembling hand. Hallucinations? A heretical mirage? The guards, they weren't very chatty. One of them called me something strange. Monkey, I think? I heard them talking among themselves, something about seizing the ship. Don't let them through. Through to where? I don't know. Oh, it's coming over me again. Tell me about these hallucinations. When did they start? It seems you were not in your right mind. I don't know what happened to you, but you led Xenos to the very heart of this vessel and almost killed us all. I mean, not really. They weren't that close. Let's be real. You were clearly seriously injured. You must be taken to the infirmary. I'll string your skinned corpse on the main deck as a warning to other traders. I mean, he's not really a traitor. Tell me about the hallucinations. When did they start? I don't remember. It's so strange. It's like I'm here and I'm there at the same time, but I remember many watches ago, a visit from a guardsman after the swamp devil's attack, it seemed. He treated my injuries, did something to my face, and said that his comrades would come and do what they had to do. And when the rest of them came, they told me to show them the way to the nest. But we're on the ship. Where did I take them? A furrow appears between Heinrich's brow as he considers this. It sounds like a mental distortion, the work of Xenos. Drukhari are capable of ensnaring their prey without shackles or fetters. They twist and violate the victim's mind using unholy instruments. Your subject has been forced to experience a nightmare from the past in order to wreak a nightmare upon the present. Ilias' mouth twists. Our cousins are adept at creating concoctions that turn sentient beings into mere beasts shrieking in agonizing pain. Sometimes the effect is quick, sometimes it leaves just enough time for the victims to divulge all that they know. Abelard clutches his head. Motive force strike me down. I think I've got it. The Xenos that the crew smoked out during the recent warp jump. This poor madman must have taken him for a guardsman. Remember, Lord Captain, the enraged Drukhari, who had bent several crew members to his will? I don't? The Xenos that the crew smoked out during a recent warp jump. It's not sounding familiar to me. Interesting. The interrogator's face takes on a strange expression, stoic sufferance and grim humor. How many more like him are roaming the decks, waiting for their new masters to give them an order? At least they do not have any means of remote communication. A small comfort, but comfort nonetheless. Seems you're not in your right mind. I don't know what happened to you, but you led this, yeah. Yeah, I'll just say you weren't in your right mind. I haven't decided what I want to do with him, because if he's potentially still able to be taken under their control the next time they show up, then probably we need to deal with him so he's not a potential problem in the future. But I'm unsure. You're not in your right mind. I think you're right, your lordship. Reason has fled me. I can't hold out even now. I can see the marsh where Tacitus vanished just behind you. The man's face twists in a mask of pain and grief, and a powerful spasm racks his body. Iconoclast, let the officer slip into the hallucinations. I think I hear your son calling you. Heretical, leave the officer between the two worlds. I want to watch the scum suffer. Or dogmatic, execute the traitor. In the name of the Emperor, death to all heretics. Ugh. I like the idea of putting him out of his misery. He's not really a heretic. He's a victim. But I guess in 40k that's one and the same. Yeah, I definitely... Morally, I side with the Iconoclast more, but I don't necessarily hate the dogmatic. It's stronger than I would term, but the outcome is kind of the same. I would think more mercy kill rather than execute, but... Or do I just go with the Iconoclast? Let him slip into the hallucination. I don't like that because the hallucination is Xenos work. So the idea of just saying, yeah, join that Xenos hallucination. Now, we're going to go with the dogmatic, even though I don't fully like exactly how it is. In the name of the Emperor, death to all heretics. In one sudden movement, the man falls at your feet, an expression of stoic acceptance frozen on his face. You bend over the body. Despite the numerous bloodstains on his skin and clothes, the officer had not been seriously wounded. The only noticeable injury is on his face. His nose is disfigured, and a red, slimy substance is streaming from it, staining his mouth and chin. Contact the Voxmaster. Take the body to the infirmary and try to identify the cause of this madness, or put the body in an airlock along with all the others. No, we can try and figure out what's going on. Maybe it can help us deal with it, or track it down in others.
Follow my lead!
None are better at searching.
Alright, long splinter rifle. I don't necessarily care. 18 to 22, actually. No, that's... sounds pretty good. How does that compare to... You can't use... Oh, you don't have Drukhari weapon proficiency yet. You just have Eldari proficiency. It is... Let's see. So if we get the toxic damage and we factor that in, we can say that it's doing 24 to 28 damage. Kind of. Oops. Additional hit chance, 10% rather than 20. We lose the dodge reduction, so enemies might dodge more. But it does its attacks for single AP and has the potential burst fire for 2 shots. Oh, the range of 12 though, that kind of sucks. I definitely like her having longer range, because we've needed it many times. No, I think I'm going to keep her using the Wanderer's Portent. The long splinter rifle, though, is tempting, but I didn't realize it was a 12 range. And we'd need to get the Drukhari proficiency. Let's see. We've already looked at that, and we don't care. Examine the charge.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
This bomb produces short electromagnetic pulses that disables power grids and devices. It is strong enough to take out the power of a whole city district or several voidship sections. Then let's defuse it, please.
Oh, too hard for a simple monkey.
Charge has been successfully defused. It is amusing that we're just like, hey, Eldari have set a bomb. Iliad, we trust you to deal with the bomb that they've placed on our ship, that Eldari have placed on our ship. Obviously, we recognize that she's a different branch of Eldari, but still. Many would not trust her.
Victory awaits!
We have over here. Even from behind the meters-thick wall of the reactor, you can hear the breath of the mighty plasma beast that sets the void ship in motion. Well, hopefully that wasn't the full plan of the Eldaris, with their attempting to surprise us, because... yeah. We dealt with their space attack super easy. And we dealt with this attack pretty easy. Judging by the bodies of the Xenos, the void ship's crew fought the raiders with some amount of success. Well, good job, guys. Pascal, please unlock that.
Operation successful.
And I think that is everything in here. Back to the bridge.
I won't tolerate weakness.
This is a long load. There we are. Back on the bridge. We are reaching the end of my streaming time, so I think I want to go around and talk to all of my crew, because it's been a while since we've done it, just to see if anything new shows up. Alright, I don't need to know who you are, so take my leave. Argenta, anything new from you?
Greetings.
Thanks for the conversation. Cassia. That's where I must leave.
I have enjoyed.
Maybe there's not anything new. It's been a while, so I was hoping someone might have something new to say. Have the Vox Spirits brought you anything interesting lately? Information that would be of interest? Alright.
Lord Captain.
Nothing from
Lord
Abelard. Sarbak. Nothing from you. Heinrichs. What about you?
To what do I owe this visit?
I'm bored of Iliad. I would like to hand the Xenos over to the Inquisition. Wow. I want the Inquisition to take care of Idira. Rid me of her. We're gonna not use either of those. Nothing from you. I'm still holding off on replacing the portrait until I finally am officially named Rogue Trader on forgot the name of our main planet.
You are spoiling me with the splendor of your presence again, Shireen. Have you decided to treat your soul to the fruits of my eloquence? Or do you wish to discuss business with the newly appointed owner of a Mercatum Tabula Officiale?
Sky smiles brighter than any star you've seen. We could ask her if her heart has been claimed by some lucky fellow, but I think I'm going to keep holding off on that.
I have no doubt you will.
Because that feels like it's romance, and I've already chosen to romance someone. Ooh.
90% of my processing power is engaged in the analysis of my tech comrade's memory. My response time may be longer than usual.
We have new dialogue. Pascal raises his eyes from a data slate connected to an augmetic. The augmetic used to be housed inside the skull of Tarzus, the tech priest who perished on your ship. Have you found anything out? Are you not surprised that Armanat's words had such an effect on Opticon 22? Right, Tarzus being the tech priest who was tasked to hunt down and eliminate Pascal for being a heretic. Have you found anything out?
The data is scarce. His identification code is the same as mine, and his memory contains data confirming that the assassination did take place. Unfortunately, some of his memory was damaged by pulses broadcast by his battle harness. I can assert with some confidence that he was who he claimed to be, and that he served the Deus Mechanicus earnestly and eagerly.
He gave up the impression of a paranoid madman. Very true.
Notwithstanding his permanent state of agony, he was not cognitively dysfunctional. His desire to immediately destroy the object he had deemed profane was partly dictated by his enchromatic augmetics, which were receiving imperatives from his battle harness.
Okay.
In light of the oddness of our matching identification codes, I find merit in his hypothesis as to the existence of a clandestine malevolent agent or conspiracy operating inside our fraternity.
Cool. So, the guy that we killed was correct in his assumption that something screwy is going on. He blamed Pascal, but Pascal is saying somewhere in the tech priest fraternity is some malevolent agent who caused them to have matching identification codes. Who do you think was behind the assassination?
No data available. I will hypothesize that the assassination was instigated by an enemy of the blessed Amanat's doctrine. I accept the possibility that the assassins were targeting me, only to be led astray by Tarsus and my own identical identifiers.
Okay.
I am concerned about the fate of Archmagos Amanat. According to Opticon 22, he went missing in the wake of the incident on an Arc Mechanicus, the Hermetico. Information about that ship and its perishing has been purged from the archives. I accept the possibility that the incident on the ship, the concealed data, and the assassination have all been part of a single conspiracy.
And is that conspiracy the same conspiracy that ended up with you having an identical identification code? You rented too. Remember our meeting on Rykad Minoris and the people who posed as heretics?
This statement is true. There were also the bodies we discovered in the hallowed electrodynamic synovium of unknown infiltrators who had posed as members of the cult of the Final Dawn. There is merit to the hypothesis that all carriers of Magos Haneman's identification code are targets of persecution.
Yeah, but there shouldn't be, like, all carriers. There shouldn't be multiple carriers of a single identification code. Are you not surprised that Amarnat's words had such an effect on Opticon 22?
I was not knowledgeable as to how popular Blessed Amarnat's teaching was in explorator circles. The Cognizance fleet is massive. His ideas might have found a larger following on its periphery than in the Mother Squadron.
Amarnat was a believer, and he caused a schism. Tarsus was a believer, and he turned into a zealot. Faith can be dangerous. I mean, yes, but we're also dogmatic, so we recognize that zealotry is normal. Schisms aren't great, but they happen. But I don't want to talk someone out of faith. I'm going to say it anyway.
Of course, faith is dangerous. Faith is the prerogative of the spirit, and a spiritless mind is an enemy of all existence. Without faith, there is no meaning in anything, no point to any aspirations or limitations. But faith can take different forms.
Pascal looks at you askance, and the voice from his Vox synthesizer takes on an otherworldly profundity.
The form of prohibitions established by unknown elders. The form of an audacious violation of those prohibitions. The form of following dogma or of schism. The form of following the cycle or of discontinuing the cycle. In a system with two courses of action, schism is inevitable. And only one of these paths will be true, as truth is discreetly separate from untruth.
Pascal's visor seems to almost pierce you with its glow. Did Amarnat believe the elders to be in error? Only a fool would find no flaws in the creed, but true faith lies in not looking for flaws. My faith is more than a mere set of rules. It consists of ideals, which sometimes come into conflict with dogma, and I have been given the gift of will to set the dogma straight. I prefer to believe in myself and my own abilities to decide independently what is right. Faith is just the shackles of obedience. It is good for controlling my subordinates, but not good enough to control me. I'm not ready for religious debate. Did Amarnat believe the elders to be in error?
Amarnat did not reject any one specific prohibition, but found their cumulative effect to be oppressive. The system of rigid limitations humans had confined seekers of knowledge to a circular track, spelling doom for the thinking mind. And that cycle of repetition had to be broken. That was why he was dubbed the Messiah of Discontinuing.
Makes sense. So yeah, there's the viewpoint of recognizing that a belief that people hold is going to have flaws in it, but faith is in believing it regardless, and just assuming that the flaws you see are things you don't understand and not to go picking at them, but that the truth is still true, even if something looks like a flaw. There's that viewpoint. There's also the viewpoint of moving towards an ideal where you can say that your faith is more than a set of rules. It consists of ideals, which sometimes come in conflict with dogma. And in our case, we are, as a rogue trader, we are above the common man, where we don't have to necessarily follow the dogma 100%. Given the gift of will to set the dogma straight. Yeah, it's... I mean, that's kind of where Amernat was coming from as well. That recognizing that the rules show a problem, and so taking the effort to look at the truth and try and set things straight, even if it does go against the general belief. So Pascal probably also believes that. And I would say to some extent our character does as well. We don't perfectly follow all the rules. We do what feels best towards our role as a rogue trader, even though it necessarily doesn't fully follow what the layperson has to do for faith. I don't like the believe in myself and my own ability. That's not really the dogmatic belief in God Emperor view. Same with that. I think I'm going to go with 3. That we are likewise trying to find a viewpoint of what feels right, even if it isn't perfectly in line with the established creed.
The Omnissiah has bestowed upon us the supreme mission, the quest for knowledge. The fact of its existence confirms that reason is yet to comprehend and quantify the universe in its entirety. This precludes the existence of any prohibition that could be considered universally relevant. All limitations need their exceptions, yet exceptions belie the inviolability of prohibitions.
Okay. Yeah, if their viewpoint is they need to acquire all knowledge, but anything that they don't know is considered heretical, that does create a problem. Obviously, some things like when we told him, hey, try and turn on the Xenos web gate, or a gate to the webway, they were just like, no. That we know is heretical and we're not going to do it. But ancient humankind technology that we don't understand, archaeotech, some tech priest would probably say turning it on and trying to figure it out is heretical. And it seems for him, he's just like, no, that's lost knowledge we want to acquire. Pascal's voice takes on a thoughtful tone, and its otherworldly might peters out. Well, perhaps you'll be able to find out more.
I will continue my research into the Blessed Martyr's memory with all due reverence.
Well, thank you. I must take my leave.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Alright. Who else do we have to talk to? There is no one down here. I thought there was. Okay. Then down here we have Cabela. Always stabbing herself.
Take heed, Nemo. Our blessed Domin honors us with a visit. The one who delivered this ark from the curse of your existence.
I must take my leave.
May the Undying One shroud your footsteps from the faithless.
Alright, we did finish her quest. So hopefully she has something to say. Which was just picking up some treasure. She does not. I must take my leave. We go back to our quests. So we have Secrets of the Cult, which is our last companion quest, which is for Heinrichs on Kiava Gamma. Let's see. New ruler. Complete a development project to the highest difficulty in any colony. We have done that, which makes me assume that 3 is not the highest level, and at some point that's going to increase. Judge proposed the rogue trader and she celebrate her acquisition of the Mercatum Tabulae Officiale with her crew on Footfall. Okay, we need to go to Footfall for that. Gamma Gamma for the U. Gamma Gamma. That's the last location in this set of 3 star systems. And then find out more about the gene stealers. We don't know where to go for that. Okay. We are making progress. Finishing up the quests that we have. Yeah, I'd forgotten we need to go back to Footfall. We were in the area. We could have taken care of that at the time. So that's a bit of a shame. I have an urgent message from Dargonus, Lord Captain. Our astropaths are receiving numerous transmissions, but no, these aren't ordinary messages. Each and every one of them is a plea for help. Dargonus is reporting a massive Xenos raid, and every mental image transmuted is wreathed in flame. That's bad. The astropathic choirmaster is struggling to determine when exactly the invasion began, but all signs point to it happening shortly after your departure to the Cineris Maleficum. Any delay condemns the world to even greater suffering. Your people are begging for immediate aid. I mean, I guess I could create a path there. As an option, but probably jump back there. Means we're leaving this behind, which is a shame. But I don't really feel that there's any benefit to having a shortcut path here in the long run, and it would cost me 5 of my 9 points. So I'm assuming going back the normal way isn't going to upset them. Hello? Or maybe it is going to cause problems. Because something's happening. Maybe I should have saved first. Instead of admiring themselves, monkeys should direct their gaze to the world around them more often. What was that statue? Also, what are you doing in my quarters? Did I give you permission? The stuffed corpse of a Slith, a bizarre xenobeast that was once in the service of the Drukhari. Yeah, we killed it, so we must have brought it here and stuffed it. Odd. So are these some of the things we have captured in our journey? Hideous head of a steel devil destroyed by the rogue trader aboard the corrupted void ship. The mask of Aurora, the prophet of the archenemy who foretold the final dawn of Rykad Minoris. That's the world I was forgetting. Rykad and Rykad Minoris. A diffused explosive device created by inhuman hands and brought aboard the Von Valencia's ship by Xenos raiders. So that's what we just did. Hefty tome containing schematics of the flagships of House Von Valencius in addition to a plethora of notes, copies of reports, and other documents. I think the rest of that we've all looked at. So where did she go? I'm assuming she's still around here. Yes. Just wondering if anything else, because a lot of these are things that Theodora captured. I'm wondering if any of the others are things I found. I don't think so. I think those are already there. Hi, Iliad. Taking careful steps, almost without a sound, Iliad examines the study's interior, raising her brows in surprise and muttering something to herself in the Eldari tongue. And it didn't translate it for us? Come on. Or you're in my chamber and uninvited at that. Iliad, what a pleasant surprise to see you here. I mean, kind of, but you are uninvited, and that's weird. Before I leap to conclusions, explain what you are doing here. Do the Eldari not teach their children that barging into others' rooms is inappropriate? Or draw a weapon? Are you spying on me, Xenos? Or are you plotting something even more sinister? I think saying it's a pleasant surprise to see her uninvited in my chamber is a bit more welcoming than it seems reasonable to be. But I also don't want to be insulting, so I think I'm just going to go with the more neutral response of, why are you in my chambers uninvited? Iliad turns to you. Why are you asking me this, Alantok? Is this place forbidden? I mean, kind of. On my craft world, we are held to a simple custom. You may set your foot wherever your path requires. Sacred ground was the only exception to this rule. Is there something sacred in this room, Alantok? Iliad looks around the room. I do not think so. How did you manage to slip past the enforcers? You do understand how suspicious this looks, yes? For humans, trespassing is akin to an insult. I'm somewhat surprised, but I am not opposed to such visits. You may come here anytime you like. You truly did not come here with nefarious intent, and simply apologize for your intrusion. How did you manage to slip past the enforcers? You know I avoid your kin and their obsessive attention. It was fairly easy to direct a couple of monkey and slip past them. Or to distract a couple of monkey and slip past them. Meeting your eyes, Iliad nods in understanding. I suppose this is not pleasant news to hear. It is not, no. You do understand how suspicious this looks, yes? Only in your eyes, Alantok. But knowing how fearful and mistrustful your species is, I suppose I should have foreseen such a reaction. Huh. Do we give her freedom to come here whenever she wants, which feels a little forward? Ask her to apologize for the intrusion, or just tell her that trespassing is an insult? I think explaining human behavior is probably reasonable. For humans, trespassing is akin to an insult. Did I ever think I would encounter this again after Krudarok? Iliad laughs sorrowfully. Stiff, meaningless rules and condemnation for overstepping lifeless boundaries? It weighed so heavily upon me back then. But is your entire world contained within this tiny metal cage, Alantok? Your ship, these chambers, they are but a speck of dust, an island, a temporary shelter in a world that is far bigger and more expansive than, well, enough of that. Now that you are here, I wish to speak with you about our agreement. Okay. I have traveled through the veil many times inside your steel-winged bird, and every time her voice torments me, trying to drive me mad. Iliad stares through you, unconsciously touching the spirit stone on her chest with a trembling hand. Her whispers fill my ears each time I enter the warp, inescapable and incessant, poisoning and inflaming every single emotion and thought, making them uncontrollable. I have learned to shut myself off as best I can, just so that I might have the chance to search for what I've lost. It's odd that the music just kind of stopped for a while. We found everyone we could, Alantok, and all of them were dead. Hopelessness and despair gleams in Iliad's eyes, and her voice breaks treacherously. But the thread of fate is broken, and I no longer know how to help my people. I failed to save anyone, and I failed to learn the truth about Krudarok's demise. I have lost my way, and I thought you were the only person on this entire ship who might understand. I was not wrong to think so, was I? For a moment, a sad smile flickers on Iliad's face, and her voice rings with agonizing doubt. No matter what you tried to keep your promise, even if your species loves to stamp out any life form they find undesirable. Do not give up, you will find what you're looking for. I stand by my actions. Your kin got nothing less than what they deserved. I tried to save them. Do not give up, you will find what you're looking for. What is this, Alan? Consolation? What are you? Eliot's words are interrupted by strange sounds similar to a stifled sigh. Her gaze trained upon something past you. Turning around, you see what has caught her attention. An odd, unsightly shard of porous material, mounted on the wall like a trophy. An entire kaleidoscope of emotions plays across her face, changing too quickly to catch. She sighs once more. Then her feelings are concealed behind an impenetrable, impersonal sigh. What is this, monkey? Eliot's voice sounds unusually cold. I think this was here from Theodora, so I don't actually know. We could do a Lord Xenos and fail it. Examine the trophy on the wall. I mean, we've got a 40% chance, but probably fail it. How deftly you change the subject. We already succeeded at the fellowship, which is nice. Something has changed. It is as though you have cut yourself off from me, Eliot. What is going on? I think you know something about this trophy. I inherited this trophy from my predecessor. Let's try examining the trophy on the wall and see what we can determine. No, we failed. A strange shard that's been here since at least the day of your ascension to the Rogue Trader's throne. Whatever it is, you cannot possibly guess at its provenance or purpose. Something has changed, as though you have cut yourself off from me, Eliot. What is going on? Eliot looks at you, her eyes devoid of every emotion, every shred of life and warmth that you previously beheld in them. You observe it, Elentak. How unusual. But there is no need to trouble your mind with conjecture. I've inflicted enough of my unbridled feelings upon you, but I am in control again. Enough. I have lingered here. No! I wanted to at least say that I don't know the shard. Because it came from my predecessor, but that's fine. Enough, I've lingered here too long. From now on, I will avoid entering places you'd prefer to keep hidden from me. Okay. That could have ended nicer than it did, but it's fine. I still want to get to Dargonus before we end the stream so that so I don't forget that that's where I'm trying to get to. Which is here, yes? Yeah. 2 more jumps. Emergency aboard the void ship. A foul warp entity has pierced the thin veil of the Gellerfield and spawned unimaginable beasts of unnatural hues. The Vox systems are picking up the crew members' screams and the warp fiend's loathsome giggling. The situation demands immediate intervention. Yeah, we did that before. We had to fight them all off. Do I want to deal with that? Not really. We're at the end of the stream. Let's just use a crate of holy gifts. Blessed by holy gifts, the God Emperor's loyal servants will battle his enemies without any fear or doubt. The crew will have to rely solely on their own strength and the Emperor's providence. No, we can use some holy gifts. Blessed relics instill the souls of the Voidsmen with such faith that there was no room for fear or doubt. It may have taken a staggering number of casualties to prevail over the enemy, but their sacrifices were not in vain. Alright, on to Dargonus. Demonic eyes had materialized and begun to slither across the walls of crew quarter 49. The burning orbs swelled like bubbles of fetid swamp gas, only in secluded places at first, later appearing in plain sight. Everyone subjected to their glare started experiencing headaches and spells of self-flagellation. After one of the officers peeled off a portion of his own skin to fashion a makeshift eyelid for one of the fiendish orbs, the section was quarantined, since neither fire nor other munitions could prevent more eyes from sprouting up on the ship. The vessel was cleansed only by escaping from the clutching embrace of the Sea of Souls. By the God Emperor's grace, no perils of the warp prevented the vessel from returning to real space. And we are now at Dargonus. So, yeah, not that button. Nothing is showing up here, so it must be a quest. Huh. Just return to Dargonus, but it doesn't specify what quest that's tied to. Anyway, next time we will go into Dargonus, see what's going on. It sounds like the Eldari told us to go up here to fight them. And then when we got there, they gave us a minor distraction while they came to Dargonus to destroy it. Which makes total sense. Send us in the wrong direction, and then go to our home world and try and destroy it. So we will head there, probably have a space battle, maybe an on-ground battle, to save Dargonus. But we'll see that next time. Thanks for being here, everyone, and I'll see you then. Bye.